And welcome to the Western Roundup. I'm your host, Jessup Pelkey, as we wait for our co-host, the person who keeps us in track online, catches all of my mistakes, and helps with pronunciation. We're still waiting and we're buying time. He's
Well,
playing with
hey,
his
we're doing
cat.
this on a Friday where I'm actually working at the same time too.
Well, yeah, because the last 2 weeks we haven't been able to actually sit down and do this at a normal time.
No, it's
Mason's been super busy on the Street Stock series or tour. And now, where are you going this week, Mason?
well, I'm actually staying pretty close to home, Fergus Falls, Alexandria, and Glendon. Although it's more on you why we were a week behind because you guys decided to go to a race on a Tuesday.
Uh, okay. Before we go too far, this race should have been done by 10:30, and it didn't end until midnight. And it wasn't because of, well, you know what? That's for another time. Another time, another day, we'll probably forget about how late it was. But yes, Mason, it's good to be back with our Western friends. We took a week off mainly because our schedules could not line up. And between a work conference for me and a couple races, and then some audio testing at a different track for Dakota Speedway TV, and then a couple days of being on the road for Dakota Speedway TV, and now finally just an all-out busy week for everybody in general.
Yeah, so we've missed a lot, but we're back on it.
Well, should we get after it?
Yeah, let's see what you got.
All right, let's kick it off. Friday at the Black Hills Speedway, it was the Month of Money Series Championship night, and I forgot to write down the Month of Money champions, the series points champions. So we'll kind of key in on that next time. But they had 49 cars in attendance, 8 Mod 4s, 8 360 sprints, 9 IMCA hobby stocks, 6 IMCA mods, 10 Midwest mods, and 10 Wissota streets. And there were quite a few broomies on the night here, Mason. And the IMCA mods, it was Eric Mass taking the Heat in feature win. So he's our first recipient of the broomie of our return show. Then up into the Mod 4s, Dean Larson continues to flex his muscle out west. And he would get a broomie as well as he swept the night as well. In the 360 sprints, Travis Reber would get a broomie as well, taking the feature and his heat win. The other heat win would go to Mike Pennell. I think it's Pennell.
Yep.
And then finally in the Wissota Streets, Leonard Ferguson would get a feature win, and then Warren Poyer Jr. got the heat win. In the IMCA hobby stocks, John Garrigan Jr. went +4 for the feature win, and Sean Weber would get the heat win. Last but not least, getting a broomie himself was Tony Liker, going +4 in his feature. Kyle Harkin would pick up Hard Charger, finishing third and going +5 in that feature. And both of those individuals would pick up their heat win. So, kind of a fun little night out there at the Black Hills Speedway. Also racing on Friday night was the Gallatin Speedway. They had 64 cars in attendance across 4 classes. So pretty good night of racing for all those guys.
I
The
think that was
IMC
their season opener too.
That's right. It's been rained and weathered out for
Yep,
the
that was their
last
season opener.
last month or so. So 18 IMCA mods, 17 360 sprints, 14 streets, and 15 super stocks as well. So let's kick it off with the street stocks. Dylan Hopp would pick the feature win. Robert Petroff would go +6 for second, and Ryan Gormley would go +9 to finish third and be picking up the hard charger. Feature win or heat wins would go to Anthony. Is it Casase or Cachace?
I think it was Kakache.
Kakache? Oh man, I slaughtered that name.
I could be completely wrong, but I feel
Kakache.
like for some reason
Casase.
I think it's Kakache.
Kakache. Why won't they ever just call us out and correct us?
I don't know. We have different people that watch these each week, so it's interesting.
That's kind of interesting. We got people out west listening to us.
Yep.
Kind of fun. And Robert Petroff would get a heat win as well. Moving to the Wissota Super Stocks, they had 15 in attendance. Casey Stephenson would pick up the win, followed by Jeremy Meerhofer, and RC Geis would take third. Hard Charger would go to Taylor Martin, who would finish sixth after going +8. Heat wins were John Tribble and Jeremy Meerhofer. So another good field of cars for the fans and the drivers. I gotta imagine drivers like racing against bigger fields of cars.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I've talked with several drivers around our local area when they go to tracks and it's like 4 or 5 cars, and it's like, well, I mean, yeah, we won, but it's like you wish there was more cars, but that's a pretty solid field across all their classes.
I mean, when Beckendorf won the Ironman 100 out at Dakota Speedway, he said in the interview that it was good to see a full field of IMCA mods. And so that kind of shows the emphasis of the importance of getting a good field of cars, which promoters can't really control, and there's only so many to go around in a single night. But it's kind of an interesting thought to look at.
Yep.
Anyways, moving back into our other features, the 360 sprints had 17 in attendance. Tyler Thompson would pick up the feature win, followed by Logan Forler and Phil Dietz. Hard Charger went to seventh place finisher Jeremy McCune, who went +6 on the night. Tyler would pick up a broomy as he would also win his heat, and Kelly Miller would also pick up another heat win as well.
Now, are you an
Finally,
expert on some of these sprint car drivers like Tyler Thompson?
me or
Yeah,
what?
yeah, because I know you're the sprint car guy, so for some reason
I
I feel like you would know some of these
I
guys.
will say after I'm starting to get a couple of people figured out. Um, the one name that I I only really know just from previous years. I mean, there's a couple guys out there. I'm draw without having their names in front of me. I'm going to draw a blank, but I know McCune's usually a pretty decent runner. Kelly Miller's one name that I know because he's ran out at River Cities a couple times, and he's ran just south of us as well. So
He,
there's some that I know, but know well, not exactly. I should do a better job by watching more of our Western stuff. But one thing that I think you would agree with, there's only so much stuff we can watch, so much racing in a week we can watch. Being from back east on the eastern side of Wissota, I like to keep up with my friends over there and the guys that I grew up watching. So I try to follow them. And then I gotta keep track of all the North Dakota stuff. And I do the western side I do a pretty good job following. Eastern side of North Dakota I can do better, but it's kind of tough when you don't have anything to see. So then after that, there's all the national tours that I like to follow, like the World of Outlaws, High Limits, and then I'm a big late model guy, so I'm following Outlaws and the Lucas Oil guys, and then a couple other things. And then I got all the stuff out west, um, all the Wissota tracks out west and IMCA tracks out west that we're trying to learn, and that's why we kind of do this podcast is to broaden our horizons and give you guys some spotlight where credit is due and highlight your accomplishments and feats. And I try to dabble with watching everything, but it's really hard to keep track of everything.
Yeah, it is, and I'm kind of getting a little bit better on getting to know some of these drivers. I will say, as far as sprint cars go, I do recognize Kelly Miller because he
Yep.
when Nodak used to have like the sprint cars show up, he was always one of them that would show up back in the early 2010s, I would want to say. So recognize them from there.
For some reason, I remember something about Provost Racing. I think it's their team, but they also do it like a late model too. Or if I remember that right. That was like a year or about a year or two ago that I saw that. So yes, I know the guys. Do I know them very well off the top of my head? Not as well as I know our local NOSA or the IRA guys. Um, but I'm getting better. And I like their series out there because I think it's kind of cool how they can have multiple plane regions at the same tracks. I think that's
Mhm.
kind of cool.
By the way, I do appreciate a couple of the tracks posting some of their pictures.
Yep.
Check
Oh,
out
that's
that
cool.
car.
I like that.
Scooby-Doo themed. I was a Scooby-Doo fan. That's Warren Poirier Jr.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. No, that's another thing. I mean, before we move on, the Western tracks do a very, there's some out there that do a very good and different job of promoting their drivers and sponsors and tracks. The track itself, I mean, but I just think it's really fun to see how different tracks promote because I'm sure my wife would agree with this. She doesn't really do a lot of the promotion anymore since Dakota Speedway went to a promoting company. Um, I think we all fall into like a type of rut on how we promote and how we do things. Like even with our shows, w- our rut is very simple. We introduce ourselves and then we just hit all the wins and then we go into the next week's races. Should we shake it up? We probably will, but that's just basically our layout of our theme. So it's kind of fun seeing how other tracks promote their drivers and how they promote them and the different styles that they use and different ways of outreach that they do as well.
Yeah, right now I'm kind of going through some of their pages and looking at the schemes they have with some of their cars, and they're actually pretty cool. So I'm adding that to my database.
For those who don't know, Mason has a photo database. And when I say a photo database, it means basically any photo of any race car that is in our general area or that we're likely to see, he'll save the photo and then he'll categorize it into whatever division, and it'll be a personal electronic library that he can go back and look at and reflect upon.
Yep, and now I need to sort more of the Western tracks.
Well, shall we continue?
We shall continue.
Well, we're on to Saturday now. Big Sky had a good night of racing, four classes in attendance, and they had 60 cars, so that was a good turnout for them. Strong car counts for the 360 sprints and the Midwest mods. As the 360 sprints got 19, the Wissota Midwest mods got 22, the Wissota Streets got 10, and the Big Sky wingless sprints got 9. Starting with the wingless sprints, Phil Dietz going +7 hard charger. While he's picking up his hard charger trophy, he's picking himself up a broomy as he won his heat as well. So another sprint car class. Kind of interesting seeing that all the different sprint cars classes across the Midwest. Especially for North Dakota, Wisconsin area, and further west and Minnesota, because they all got the wingless sprints. They got the 360 sprints. We got the 410 sprints.
Yeah.
Kind of a kind of an interesting thing. So now we got Big Sky wingless sprints. I'll have to do a little more digging to figure out the differences from what those are to our Renegade wingless sprints. Oh, and then we also have the 305 IMCA Race Saver sprints.
Easy to get confused.
It is, and they all look the same. Although if you are a true sprint car fan, there are few aspects where you can kind of just look and be like, okay, that's a little different. But
I am not on that level.
it's been a while since I've been fairly that confident to walk through a pit and go boom, boom, boom. But that's also because I haven't seen that many sprint car races in the last 4 years. Anyways, in the Wissota Street Stocks, it was a hard charging Robert Petroff picking up the feature win. He would go +6 to take the win, and your heat winners were Troy Seapack Jr. and Dylan Hopp. Please tell me I'm not saying it wrong. Is it?
We're gonna go with that.
Well, he might not be the only name in this week's episode that I'm going to struggle with. In the 360 sprints, Tyler Thompson going +9. And usually when you go +9, you're the hard charger, but only thing Tyler is going to pick up today is a feature win, which I don't think he's that upset about.
No, I wouldn't be either.
Second place went to Kelly Miller. Third place goes to Rich Bailey, and Damon McCune went +13 to finish 6th, and was able to pick up the hard charger for the night. Logan Forler, Corey Wormling, and Rich Bailey all picked up heat wins. Finally, in the Wissota Midwest Mods, or as our friends at the Grand Rapids Speedway would call them, the MWM SmackDown division, it was Bart Taylor going +5 to pick up the feature win. In second place was Michael Rogers going +7, and Nathan Keniston was your hard charger going +9 and would round out the podium. Rod Lorenz, Michael Rogers, and Justin Hoft would all pick up heat wins for the night. So that was a good night of racing out at the Big Sky. Looking over to the Electric City Speedway, another good night of racing as well. 58 cars in attendance, 10 Wissota Midwest mods, or 10 Wissota Street Stocks, 15 Wissota Midwest mods, 19 IMCA mods, and 14 IMCA Sport Compacts. In the streets, it was Kyle Jarvie picking up the win. Second place would go to the hard charging Marvin Gonzalez, who picked up 8 spots. And finishing out the podium was Dave Azure. Dave would also pick up a heat win along with Cale Tinker. In the IMCA Sport Compacts, this is where I'm going to start slaughtering names. I'm sorry to is it I want to say Chaz,
I think it's Chase, but
but
who
I
knows?
let's go with Chase. Chase Matty,
Mattier.
Matty. Do you know this for sure?
Nope.
You know what? I like it. We're gonna go Chase Mattier for the win. Chase, if we said it's wrong, we're sorry. Somebody help us. We're too far to the east to know any better. Second place went to John Sutton. Hard charger would go to Rick Bishop, going +5, and he would be third. And Chase and John both picked up heat wins, and feel really bad if we slaughtered names. But we're trying, people. We really are. And unless told otherwise, we're going to struggle with it the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Anyways, in the Minnesota Midwest mods, Jeremy Muirhofer went +6 and was hard charger for the night. He also picked up a feature win, a heat win, making him a Broomy winner. In second place, it was Joey Price going +1. In third place, Mason's relative CR Eisenzimmer. What?
I I really need to look into that.
Someone should send us information on this.
We're related somehow. I just don't know how.
I think it would be great. This might be our first interview.
Would be an interesting one.
I'm just bringing families together
Sure.
right here in the fields. It warms the cackles of my heart. Anyways, like I said, Jeremy Muirhofer picked up a heat win along with Tyler Leach, and that would round out your Midwest Mods division for the night. Finally, we had the IMCA modifieds, and there was a lot of passing going on here, Mason. Jordan Tucci going +10 to pick up the feature win, and I'm assuming hard charger as well, as Michael Leach would pick up +10 as well, but would finish one position short, and Fred Hansen would round out the podium. Travis Schumott, Casey Kennett, and Fred Hansen would all pick up not feature, but heat wins as well. That wraps up Electric City.
There's 3 guys that went +10 in that mod feature.
I know, that's crazy. You don't see that much passing.
No. Another 2 that went +8.
That's a lot of people moving to the front and a lot of people moving to the back.
Yeah.
All right, closing out Saturday night was the Gillette Thunder Speedway. Month of Money Championship was on the line. A lot of point series. And again, we'll look into seeing if we can get further details on that as well. Kind of hit up our next show with that. 50 cars in the pits. 4 mini bombers, 20 Wasota Midwest mods. That's a big jump there. 4 to 20. 5 Wasota Mod 4s, 10 IMCA hobby stocks, and 11 IMCA modifieds. So with the mini bombers, Dakota Ernest keeps going with a powerful broomy performance. First in both the feature and heat win. In the mod 4s, who do you think won, Mason?
The silver bullet.
It was none other than Dean Larson. Another broomy performance for him. Then jumping over to the IMCA hobby stocks, John Garrigan Jr. is back. He, after kind of struggling, I mean, he's not really struggling.
No.
Getting second and third or have one off night, that's not really struggling. But for him, that might be a struggle. But he went +7 on the night to pick up the feature win. Brett Const getting a hard charger after going +8 for second place. Tracy Const going +6 to get third. So really good battle in there. +7, +8, and +6. Can't ask much more. All 3 of them had to move up through the field. Austin Rusk and Brett Const picked up the heat wins for the IMCA hobby stocks. Looking at the IMCA modifieds, Eddie Kirchhoff would pick up the hard charger and the feature and the heat win and a broomy, going +8 in his effort for the night. Darren Conrad went +3 to get second. Connor Frisk. Is it Frisk or Frisky?
Brisk.
Frisk, okay. Don't want to be disrespectful. So Connor Frisk it is. He went +3 to pick up third, and he also picked up a heat win as well. And closing out Saturday was the Wasota Midwest mods. Like we said, 20 in attendance, a great field of cars there. Troy Liker going +6 for the win, and he also picked up the heat win, giving him a broomy for the night. In second place, Tony Liker picking up the hard charger, going +12, and closing out the top three was Travis Soper. And I also put a note there that Matt Drake went +12 to finish 8th as well. So a lot of passing in the night. So Troy Liker, Tony Liker, Austin Long, and Brennan Davis were your heat winners for the night. So that was Saturday. A lot of good racing there.
Solid night there.
Sunday, as they say on the commercials, Sunday.
Yep.
At the Sheridan Speedway, there were 40 cars in the pits. 7 WISSOTA Street Stocks, 5 WISSOTA Mod 4s, 7 IMCA Mods, 9 Rocky Mountain Hardtops, and 12 WISSOTA Midwest Mods. Starting in the Mod 4s, Dax Rayer would pick up the win, the feature win, and Kai Jackson would pick up the heat win. In the WISSOTA Streets, it was Robert Petroff taking the feature win, followed by Troy Seapack Jr. And those guys are always battling out there. It seems like if you want to know who's going to be near the top, you got your handful that you can be safe on picking if you're a fan doing pick'ems in the bleachers. But those guys always seem to be finding their way to the front.
Check out this street
Is
stock.
that
from
Ken
Sheridan.
Harmon?
That's Ken Harmon.
That is a cool looking ride. Now, I'm curious if that is an original body.
That's a good question.
If people know and would like to let us know, we would love to know if Ken Harmon's street stock is an original body. Definitely a cool thing. I like seeing those different ones. The West has some cool looking cars out there. I know they got is it a it's not a Pinto, it's a Gremlin. They have the Gremlin
Yeah,
Midwest mod out there as well. So they got some fun
that's.
stuff out there.
I think that's John Johnson is his name.
Either way, definitely some fun stuff to see at the tracks out there. In the IMCA modifieds, picking up a broomy was Bart Taylor, taking both the feature and heat win. Bart went +3 on the night, so to pick up the win. So good job, Bart. In the Rocky Mountain Hardtops, is it Ryder? Or
I think it's Ryder.
Jim Ryder picked up a broomy as well. Jim went +5 in the feature, and the other heat winner was Matt Brown. Last but not least, closing out the weekend was the WISSOTA Midwest Mods, and this individual already picked up a broomy for the night. Bart Taylor went +4 to pick up the feature win. He was followed by hard charger Austin Long, who went +5 for second, followed by Mario Berger, and it was Austin and Bart picking up the heat win. So definitely kind of an exciting week here of racing, and it was good to get back to them. And I'm looking something up here real quick for our next part. Mason, you got anything for the weekends? Any closing thought on that?
No, they had a good solid weekend. Again, apologies that we missed the previous weekend. Just a lot happening in the when you put in midweek racing in the middle of June after a hectic end of May, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to say with the late start we had, plus all of a sudden we got the couple tours going through and people scrambling to make up dates. Definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, no more excuses. Let's get on to this week and let's talk about some fun racing coming forward here. If you're looking for something for Father's Day this week and you haven't came up with an idea of what to get dad or where to take dad, take him to the racetrack. It's a show. Well, it's dinner and a show if you take them to the concession stands.
Yeah.
And in some of these cases, definitely a very affordable night for Junior to take good old Pops out to the track. So let's get started here. Black Hills Speedway. It's packed the stands night and general admission free. So that you can't beat that price. Racing kicks off at 7 p.m. You're going to see the IMCA hobby stocks, Wasota Mod Force, Wasota Street Stocks, Wasota MWM Division, aka the Midwest Mods or the MWM Smackdowners, and the IMCA Mods and the 360 Sprints. This night, as I'm looking at my phone here, this night is being kind of co-junctioned with Wavy, which is Working Against Violence Incorporated of Rapid City. If you could bring it says on their Facebook, if you could bring donations, it'd be greatly appreciated. They're looking for full-size bottles of conditioners, women's underwear, flip-flops, towels, etc. You can get more details on that as well. If you cannot make it to the show, it's going to be on bhsgts.tv. Interesting. So that is going to be over at the Black Hills Speedway. Pack the stands night. Get out there. You cannot beat that much entertainment for free.
Can't complain about that.
Then over at the Casper Speedway, definitely a big night of racing going on over there. Wasota Mod Force, Wasota Midwest Mods, IMCA Mods, IMCA Hobbies, IMCA Sport Compacts, and the Rocky Mountain Hardtops. It is a Midwest modified special Mason, and if you go check out their Facebook page, there's been a lot of donations put into the purse for this race. It is now up to $1,200 to win. There is a Midwest Mod $100 lucky pill draw plus $100. I think it's $100 hard charger, but I might be mistaken on that because I might be looking at a different track here. But a lot of money to go around there. Racing starts at 7:30, and honestly, the ticket prices are pretty sweet. $10 general admission. Again, getting that much action and to get a Midwest Mod special for only 12 for $10 to 1,200 to win, definitely worth the time to go out to the track and take in the sights and sounds of the Casper Speedway. Finally, Gallatin Speedway is going to be racing as well. They've got the IMCA mods, the Wasota Streets, the Wasota Supers, and one of my favorite classes, the Wasota Late Models. And this should be a sanctioned event, which to you fans, what we've kind of noticed over the last couple of years is when the late models aren't sanctioned, the attendance of cars are often lower than when they are sanctioned. So there's a better chance for a better turnout of late models in the case of sanctioned events. So which this is, you're going to have a good time. And general admission $15, teens and seniors $13, 12 and under free. Racing kicks off at 7:35.
Next page.
Next page, last page. Saturday, Big Sky Speedway is going to be racing again. They got the wingless sprints, the Wasota Midwest Mods, Wasota Streets, IMCA Compacts, IMCA Mods, and I read general admissions $20. So, Big Sky's got some good stuff going on out there. Electric City Speedway is the tribute to dads. Go us. Woo! And it is the Wasota Midwest Mods, Wasota Super Stocks, the Wasota Late Models, the IMCA Modifieds, IMCA Compacts as well. And so you get your late model fix out of the way because it's going to be a good weekend. Take that out there. Make sure he gets to see the best of the best. but don't tell all the other divisions. General admission is $14. Racing kicks off at 7. Then over at the Gillette Thunder Speedway, it is packed the track. So Mason, guess how much ticket prices are for general admission?
0.
You are correct. It is 0, aka free. So you have no excuse to not know where to take Pops out to the racetrack. Heck, even at that price, you can take Mom with you.
Very affordable for the family that night.
Anyways, they got the mini bombers, the Wissota Midwest mods, the Wissota Mod 4s, IMCA hobby stocks, IMCA mods, the Wissota late models, another Wissota late model show. I love it. It's late models and sprint cars, two favorite things. Mods, I accept you as a formidable foe, but those are my two favorites. I'm biased. Anyways, the track has the Boys and Girls Club of Campbell County out there taking in donations. Check the Facebook page to see what they are needing. When I say check the Facebook page, check Gillette Thunder Speedway's Facebook page. Definitely a good cause. Help out all the young children of our society and our areas, and see what we can do for them. Remember, racing is free. Dinner and a show. Take them to the concession stand. And if you didn't get them anything nice or anything at all, you can always hit up the merch trailers and get them a nice new t-shirt. Drivers, be pushing that.
Yes.
This is your time to get those shirts out. Finally, on Sunday, it's the Sheridan Speedway Street Stock Special, and they got Wissota Streets, IMCA mods, Wissota Mod 4s, Wissota Midwest mods, IMCA Sport Compacts. Racing kicks off at 6:30. And Mason, did you know if you wanted to ride in a actual dirt track modified, you could get a 2-seater ride for $100?
I did see a picture of that. We used to have one at Nodak Speedway where you could do a ride along like that.
Now, I've done. I think this would be something our fans would really like to do.
That would be a fun experience.
I mean, okay, for me, the sprint car one looks just too big. It doesn't look right. I've done the NASCAR one, and there's a couple others that I've done, and I'm ready to keep exploring and the different things I can ride in, if not drive.
I wonder what they ended up doing with that 2-seater ride that they had in mind, because that was like 10 or 12 years ago. I want to say they had that.
Well, I'm curious about it because I know who was it? Cedar Lake just had someone. I think they stuffed it in the wall. Not like hard, but they stuffed the rear end into the wall pretty good, and there was like a all brand new tin on it, and the whole backside was mangled. It was awesome. And then they kept going. It was awesome.
Whoopsie.
Anyways, that's our week of upcoming races, and there's some big stuff, some really big stuff in the next 2 weeks coming up. We'll highlight them as we get closer, but there's a lot of good racing to be taken in, a lot of good late model racing going around. Get out, support the tracks. You cannot beat free for a price to get into the races. And remember, dinner and a show, not a bad price. Plus, if you didn't get Dad a gift, get them a beautiful racing shirt that they can always remember and treasure, or at least until the next year, where you have to get them another t-shirt.
Good for 1 year.
With that, Mason, you got anything else?
Nope, I think we covered it.
Cool. Well, until next time, race fans, get out to the tracks, support them, and take Pops out. It's our day. We're taking back one weekend, or at least maybe one day of the weekend. Until next week, we'll see you at the track.
Happy Father's Day, everyone.